Thank you, Harini. That was very nice. All right, you guys are great. You either had a light lunch or you're absolutely crazy to listen to what I'm going to talk to, which I think is a very, very low probability. But nevertheless, for some reason you're here, the rest of the guys are there, okay? So we see a lot of this, but we'll take it in the light of this one. So let's start, okay? Let's start with a very, very simple, honest admission that passions are accidental discoveries. I don't think any of us actually sit in a nice, room with all the paraphernalia, with the design tools and say, this is going to be my passion. And I don't think it happens. I think you probably discover that in some occasion, some circumstances, that only after many, many years you look back and say, wow, that was a defining moment. Okay, so I'm really not going to talk about the defining moments, but if you have it in the mind, I know most of you won't, that passion is somehow going to be, I think I should put that on. So out of the clutter, the light bulb is going to come on. I don't think that'll happen. Okay, so I think it starts with an interest. You guys are interested. You're here. Those guys are interested in something else. Okay, that's all right. I have no problems with that. Okay, but in everything we do, we start with an interest. And for most part, I'm going to talk about cycling. Okay, so I'll keep coming back to the cycling examples. So for me, like anyone else, growing up in the school, the interest in cycling was just that. It was an interest in cycling. And I don't think it really, again, I sat in a classroom and said, my interest should be cycling. The way it happened is there were enough crazy guys in my class. They also described that there were enough crazy guys in their classes, and I would be one of them. And we had something going on about 25 kilometers from our school in a nearby village or whatever. And some bright guy in my class said, hey, we'll go there on our cycles. And first thing you do when you're in school is something important comes up. And if you guys have forgotten the art, I'll tell you, don't tell your parents. Okay? And if I had gone back and told my parents I'm going there 25 kilometers on a cycle, okay, wouldn't have happened. Okay? Next thing you do is don't be very sensitive. Okay? So I came back home and this cycle that I inherited from my grandfather was I think 1940s or 50s Humber cycle. And it was out of air, had a flat tire, I don't know what it was. So I actually eyed my sister's ladies' cycle. Okay, so in an 8th grade, if you ride a ladies' cycle, okay, you get ragged. Okay, but that's when I look back and say, for me to overcome that sensitivity and take that ladies' cycle, ride 25 kilometers up and come back, must have been some interest. Okay, and going up was tough. Going there was tough because then I realized that only now, because what piqued the interest was coming back. It was all downhill. So you didn't have to do much coming back. And I said, man, if you can pick up this kind of speed on a cycle, why do you need anything else? We are literally flying. Okay? So that starts as an interest and becomes a hobby. You start looking at curious cycles and what do you do with this, what do you do with that, and that goes on. And for me, many, many years after that 50-kilometer cycling experience was going into these expensive cycle shops in US and looking at, these cycles that are thousands of dollars worth and saying, man, really? You would pay $5,000 to a cycle? 3 lakhs? There are people who do, okay? This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so you start tinkering with this. That's what the hobbies are. Keep tinkering with them. And then slowly that becomes a passion. I don't want to bore you with all the nice stories, but essentially we all get there. I have mine, you have yours, okay? And sometimes it's just at the interest level. Some of us are a little bit pushing forward to get it to a hobby level, and many are taking it to the passion level. But usually, there is passion and there is job. So what does a job do? It funds your passion, right? So it's okay. And I did that for the longest time. And but then what do? Right? So you start thinking, can I apply this somewhere? Again, this is not a very scientific process, but happens. So that's what we're here to talk about. How did we apply? And I didn't know any of this. I wouldn't have said this with this much of clarity, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. But I can tell you with little clarity that I have now. That's what we're going to spend some time on. Okay. First application. If you have a passion, have fun. Who's going to stop you? Right? It's your money, it's your time, you've done an honest job, you've made an honest living, and you take some of that, put it in your hobby, interest, passion. Who's going to stop you? Okay? Fantastic application, and we can actually talk for a long time about what's happening in India and how people are actually putting money in fun, and why fun beyond all those, in fact, it's probably a wrong place to say, but beyond all the stupid, I'll not qualify which movies, so I can always escape out of this one. Beyond all the stupid movies, if you still have funds, right? Have fun. There's a whole world outside of movie theaters. You can have fun, okay? Next, maybe do some social good. I'm not here to talk as a saint, but I'm going to talk about my experience of doing social good and how. And again, I don't want any credit back saying I'm a saint or something like that. None of that. It's a straightforward scientific process that hopefully results in something good, okay? Or build a business. Absolutely, perfectly honorable, enjoyable stuff to do, okay? So here's our story. So first challenge. So we are all great at spending someone else's money, okay? So you sit in the office, the company gives you a budget, spend it, okay? Especially now in March, right? So can anyone relate to that? The velocity of the checks coming through your desks, increases February, March, and all that. Otherwise, you get a lesser budget next year, okay? Do it, right? If you're an NGO, what do? Collect donation and spend it, right? So put a simple constraint that no donations. Not a penny. Then what do? Okay? So here's the deal. So we started. Cycling was our passion. So 2008 was a sort of the epiphany year for us. And we said, if you're working for some other company, there's not much you can do in building another business, right? So it's much easier, nicer, honorable, ethical thing to do is let's start an NGO and let's pick a charity. And our passion is cycling. So I did few people who are equally passionate about cycling and said, we'll do some events, we'll charge people money. You go to a movie and pay for a ticket, you come to our cycling event, you pay for a ticket, right? We run the events using that money. In case if you lost, it's money out of our pocket. That happened too, okay? And if we made some money, we'll put in something good, okay? So what started in 2009 as a freedom ride with 189 riders, okay? It was 8 companies that I went to and said, guys, put 25 people each, okay, 200 people. So August 15th, 11 people forgot to wake up early. So we are a 7 o'clock event, okay, which we believe are a little too late. We should be a 6 o'clock event, okay, right here, HICC grounds, 2009, August 15th, 7 o'clock, pull the flag hoisting rope, 7:01 or so was the national anthem, 7:02 the 62-kilometer ride started, 62 because 2009 was 62 years of freedom, and people finished the ride, came back here, had as good a lunch as you guys had, and went home, okay, except for the 11 people, so 189. And 6 years later, 2014, we had 10,000 people. Okay. Yeah, go on, it's okay. Yeah, thank you. Right? So there has to be something to that. And I'll come back to why they became so much of a success in our view, right? But in the end, that actually taught us, we'll pick 3 important days in a year. January 26th, the Republic Ride, August 15th, the Freedom Ride, October 2nd, the Peace Ride, and we'll start putting these nice and very grand, and sometimes people call them crazy events. For example, one of the Peace Rides we did was Bapu Ghat in near Langar House to Sabarmati in Ahmedabad, 1,200 kilometers, 7 days, okay? So do events like that, and whatever comes, hire teachers, they're on our payroll, and put them in these 5 government schools and get it going. Happens beautifully. Not a penny of donation required since the beginning till today, okay? So if you want to do social good through us, don't pay us. Don't donate to us. And if you do want to, in fact, enough people come. Crores of rupees have been raised in these events, not a penny for us. We actually send them to other charities like United Way and others. And you pay them, right? For us, you just buy the ticket. Register for the event, but you have to ride. And this year is going to be 68 kilometers if anybody is interested. Anyone interested? Oh, there you go. Good. You registered. Anu, before we leave, let's take all the names, take the money, okay? And we will put that in the school, all right? But those hands have to be many more because we are aiming more than 10,000 people. Okay, works very, very well. So I'll come back to lessons learned. If you took hobby to do some social good, we don't necessarily have to be these Indian definition of saints who gives up everything and dedicates to a cause. Why? You're smart enough not to give up anything. Take whatever you can and put it in a good cause. You can do it, right? You just have to design right, and we'll talk about the design principles. And what ended up happening, so you did all this for 5 years. So how is the education? There are enough auditors in this world, okay? You don't have to give them any certification, payment, whatever. They'll come and ask you 100 different questions. One of the questions is, how good are these students? We actually do a contest. I'll just give you one metric. We do a contest once a year. Usually happens in September, okay? We teach English for most part because we believe that's what gets them going in their career, etc. And to test how good our work is, we bring these kids through a contest, and there are 2 winners in the government school league from those 5 schools. And we do a similar league for the private school students. Thousands of kids participate, okay? In September, the 2 winners of the private and the 2 winners of the public school, they meet on the same stage. No quota, no head start, no reservation, no partiality, exactly same content. Everybody has access to the same tools. Everybody knows what is going on. There are 3,000 words that they have to master. Everything is transparent. And sometimes these government school kids win, beating those kids who pay upwards of 2 lakh rupees a year for tuition fee. Okay, I call that a success. Okay, and because nobody pays us donation, we don't really have to answer to anyone other than that fact. If you want to test how good these tests are, how good these kids are, register your kids, your family, friends, and neighbors, and all those. Bring them on. Let's see. All right. So more about the press, but build that. But now the third part, right? Building a business. How do you build a business on this? So I actually thought of this. This went on for years and years. I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with cycling. Okay. So in fact, one of these events right here, we did about 3-4 years ago. A mechanic, I don't know what he was thinking. He set the 2 pedals of a cycle like this. You know how they are like this? Okay, this was like this. Okay, this poor guy took the cycle. One of the participants went a few meters and comes back and says, "What is this? How do you ride this?" We said, "Okay, sorry, error." We gave him a different cycle. But I looked at it and said, "Man, this is really cool." Okay, the next event we actually introduced a segment to ride that cycle. So now you can actually, if you want, you can come and ride this fun cycle. It's a lot of fun. You should practice that. Okay, we'll talk about fun more part, but we did build a successful social good, project, and I think that can be based on your passion. You don't necessarily have to be a cyclist to do it, or whatever your passion is, you can do it. Okay, but the moment it is business, so now all the MBA guys are standing up, right? Okay, let's look at the market segmentation. What are the needs? What is the demand? And don't mistake need to a demand, and I'll tell you why, okay? And what's the business environment, okay? And so what can we offer that no one else can as our offering, okay? Very tough questions. And if you want to do a business, if you're an entrepreneur, there is no one else. I can't hire a McKinsey to give me these answers, right? I have to do this myself, right? So here's the reality in our cycling business. India, okay, 25 years ago, 91, all this stuff that you see here, IT, BPO, the knowledge industry, the service industry, $100 million. Okay, any guesses what is 2014? Come on, guys. $108 billion. Okay, and if you see that coming up there, it's 1,000 times growth in 25 years. And if you see that little thing there, the box, you see this box here, and compare it to that box, that area is 1,000 times, okay? If you really want to make it to the scale, right, you have to go up 20 stories. The chart will really go through the roof, okay? So what does that tell you? People are making a lot of money. $108 billion at about 20%, 25% profit. There's about $25 billion in the pocket of the companies after having paid all the employees. So these employees have money, and you guys actually should check out this book. It's an old book written by Kenichi Ohmae. It's called The Mind of the Strategist. And he actually had a fantastic theory. Said that the moment a country country's income or a segment's income goes beyond $10,000, regardless of the time of the, the era or whatever, right? So $10,000, the attitude of the society changes. The propensity to spend changes. The interest of the people changes, right? And where are we right now? In our demography, I'll tell you, when we actually analyze those who get very, very passionate about cyclists are the people who make 6 lakhs or more per annum. That's $10,000. So brilliant guy, right? Kenichi Ome, this I read about 20 years ago and still holds true, okay? So that's reality one. Reality two, okay? In fact, this actually ends at the last decade, 2010, 2011. The GDP, that's the rise from 1991. In spite of all the damage done, with the last 10 years of whatever that happened politically, still the GDP is rising. One of the most impressive growth stories in the world. Reality three, and this is, is a little bit more depressing than the last two slides. Last two are upbeat, right? Hey, we are making 1,000 times more money in this segment. We are, our GDP has grown and grown and grown. What do you think the 60% is? And I even put a hint there, lifestyle. What do you think that is? Any guesses? There is something that lifestyle has to do with 60%. You'll be surprised. 60% of the deaths in India are due to lifestyle. I didn't mean to depress you. I know it's just after lunch and a very nice dessert, right? Or two, right? And most of it is attributed to physical inactivity, okay? Physical inactivity, according to the World Health Organization, is 32 lakhs plus deaths in a year in India. These are just Indian statistics. Those who are not active have 30% more risk than those who are active in having a premature death or those diseases called the lifestyle diseases, diabetes, cardio, you name it, like blood pressure, whatever, right? So, let me not depress you anymore, okay? So, notwithstanding the good and the bad, it's a great time to be in the business of active lifestyle. Agreed? Okay? But, how much will you pay? I will put you guys on a cycle, 68 kilometer, this August 15th. You have to pay a registration fee. Let's do the bidding. If I hear an interesting number, I'll even register you. Do I hear any numbers? How many rupees would you pay for this? Come on, answers. I'll not hold you to it. Come on. 1,000. 500. 1,000. 500. Somebody said 200. I don't want to see you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. It costs us on a freedom ride, and it is 5-star. It is absolutely 5-star. If you came here to have lunch on your own, just think about how much it costs you, and it is included. Okay? Our cost is close to 1,600 rupees of doing it, not a penny of profit. Okay? We charge 1,500. I have to have a big army of people going out and telling people, look, this is good for you, do it. Don't be in that 60%. Don't be in that 32 lakhs. Don't be in that 30%. Do it, right? Why won't you do it? Think about it, right? So now it's great to be having those statistics of 108 billion industry income, 1.7, 1.8 trillion of GDP, right? And all those risk statistics looming on you and scaring you every morning saying, what are you doing, right? In spite of that, nobody came close. You guys are 30% off of the best price, okay? So what do? Of course, you'll have to go after sponsorship and get some money and all that. You can figure out the commercials, but so what do? Okay? The way we have a nice phrase for this, but I'll tell you. The reason people won't pay, number one is awareness. What can cycling do for me? Can cycling get rid of 10 kgs? Can cycling get rid of my diabetes? Can cycling help with my blood pressure? Can I have fun? I'll go spend a few hundred rupees a week having fun, eating in a bar and a restaurant, or goes watching a movie, downing some popcorns and drinking some soda, and take that money and have equal amount of fun without sacrificing the fun, but being active. Can I do that? The answer is yes, but not many people know the answer. Okay? Now, if you do know the answer, where do you get those experiences? It's so easy to walk to a mall and a movie, multiplex and, bar and a restaurant and do all those inactive stuff. Where do you get a cycle? Do any of you know where you get a cycle in Hyderabad? 2 hands, 1 half hand. Right? Now about a few more hands. Okay? So 5 years ago, people would have said, let me see. Right? Cycle to rent, good cycle to enjoy cycling. You don't have that awareness. You don't have the experience. Right? And it's not a bad thing. See, I'm not here to condescend. I'm not here to ridicule anything. This is a statement of fact. It's a matter of fact. This is where we are, and including me. Right? Then the availability. Right? So you need equipment. And once you have that equipment, you need to maintain. Right? Some of these cycles might end up costing more than the cars you own. And you have better maintenance infrastructure for cars and motorcycles than the cycles in this country. Right? How do you maintain? And with all that, so what? If you're a runner, you can run a marathon, that's an achievement. If you're a cyclist, what do you do? Okay, we have some events for you, we'll come to that. And then you celebrate. So what do you do when you want to celebrate? Go to a movie, go to a restaurant. Do you go on a cycle ride? Think about it for a second, right? And this cycle is what you call the cycle of cycling. It works. And I have a perfect statistics. If I talk to X number of people here today, I know exactly how many of you will be there a year from now. We have the current statistics. It will change. We are in the business of changing that statistics, increasing them and all that. But that's the cycle of cycling. But you do all that when the propensity to pay is very, very low. The difference between need and the demand. The need is we have to be active. We have to be in better health. Okay? Will we pay for that? Wanting to pay for that. How many of you are absolutely non-thinking twice of a movie ticket of 150, 200, 300 rupees? Right? Easy. You walk in, pay that money, you're done. Okay? How many of you will pay 300 rupees for an hour and a half of cycling? Cycle included, helmet included, breakfast included. Can I see hands? Good for you guys. Right? That's how you start. But that 300 rupees is below our cost. Okay? We'll get to that. Okay? So, awareness, we do stuff like this. Of course, I have, all these ICI guys called me, come and talk about this and all that. I do have a vested interest. I want you guys to hear about cycling. At least, and I told you, what's the statistics? 7.5% of you from today, a year from now, will be very passionate cyclists. Take it from me. Okay? Which 7.5% we'll see. Okay? So, we actually go, in fact, not just in Hyderabad. Now we've gone to at least 8 cities in India, and we do an event called Cycle Talk. Right? We talk about cycles, and it's a fascinating thing. We'll tell more about that. Experience, even kids included. Right? If you want a birthday party, you can definitely go to a pizza shop and cut a cake and eat a pizza and distribute gifts and go home. Or come to us, we'll put 25 of you kids or adults or whatever, we'll put you on a cycle for 45 minutes, go around, earn your pizza and a cake. Okay? Won't cost you any more than your pizza party. Okay? So there are things called TAF cycle stations from where you can rent cycles. We have 1,000 cycles right here in Hyderabad, by the way. And we're building more cycles in Gurgaon, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Raipur, etc., right? And if you want to rent a cycle, keep it for a month or so, do it. If you want to come to us and have an experience, whether it's a birthday party or a corporate team outing or whatever, do it. We'll do it for you. Okay? Availability. So if you guys want, if you go for a pizza for once, in fact, I hope nobody from Papa John's is here, right? So right next to Papa John's is our cycle store. Okay? You can have pizza, just to keep them happy, but check out our cycle store. And I'll tell a little bit more about that. That's the availability. Okay? And this is the coolest of all, right? We have a thing called cycle clinic. So if you buy an expensive cycle, what do? Okay, you need it fixed. And how do you take that cycle to a clinic, to a service shop? Age-old Indian street corner mechanic shops, you go there, throw a 50 paisa or a rupee or a thing, you get your puncture fixed. Now, you no longer have the street side shops, okay? Taking your cycle in an auto or a carrier cost you 300, 400 rupees. Fixing a cycle will cost you only 100 rupees, right? And then bringing it back will cost you another 300 rupees. So this cycle clinic, on the holidays, weekends, goes to communities, apartments, villas, etc., pulls up in the morning, gets all those cycles, fixes them for free. Okay? If you guys have a question on why free, I have a 30-minute analysis to present to you, but forget it, okay? And we kind of break even on this one. But it happens. It's, I mean, upwards of 50 or 60 or so for the last 6 months, clinics have already been done. And then you have to achieve, right? What is your achievement? How many of you want to ride 100 kilometers? Sometime in your life. Great. How does it feel? Have you done it already? How many of you have actually ridden 100K? 1, 2, okay, 3. A few of them, so 4 or 5, maybe 1%, okay? So much higher number is there on that aspiration. And how does it feel when you achieve the 100K? Now that's a story to tell, right? And how about 10 stories to tell? So this TAF Rider program, and the TAF is not just our brand TAF, it's also on the distance dimension, ranging from 50 kilometers to 1200 kilometers. There are 10 steps, and you can do it. Okay, we have nothing that we have not done before, right? You get those 10 medals and a nice plaque. You hang them on your wall, and you have stories to tell, right? And on the distance dimension, it is tenacious, tenacious, able, fit, okay? On the speed, you cover them at 16 kilometers per hour, which is the French standard for what is called as the brevet rides, for the equal distance challenges. It's tough, 20 kilometers per hour is agile, and 24 kilometers per hour is fast. Now by this time you have done 30 of these rides. It takes about 3 to 4 years to finish all these 30 rides by training and doing it. And once you've done that, as hard as it is today to wake up and say I'll go out and do something, will be 4 years from now to stay in the bed and not do anything, right? That is the power of habit, okay? So I'll get a little bit more on the celebration. Let's just look at the smiles of those ladies. In fact, we had a very special women's wing riding the 100K that time, and several hundreds came, and they finished 100K. The youngest to finish 100K in our rides is a 5-year-old boy. The oldest to finish 100K in our rides is a 70-year-old man, okay? So now, those two guys are definitely not in that 60%, right? So keep that in mind. Now, of course, we have to decide all this, you put all this in a structure, and I'll just quickly cover this. So we have these programs, and we have these stores and hangouts, and we have these events, okay? That's the design. It works. Everything I showed you is a real, breathing business, okay? Does it make a whole lot of money? No. Okay, it's still in the investment phase. But does it have the potential to be the number one? The question, what is it that we can offer that no one else can offer, is an opportunity to pursue an active lifestyle in a systematic manner from beginning to end, from awareness to celebration. That is what took about 11 months to design. So it hasn't been, I know I probably am covering it in about 11 minutes, but it's been a big, long journey, but there's some lessons learned, okay, and I'll try and cover them. So those are the programs, but leave that. So 1, quality. Anything we want to do, we want to do 5-star. In fact, in 2008 and 2009, I came here, argued till cows came back home with the sales managers and the GM of this particular facility. I will do a cycling event here. These guys would come and say, sir, a wedding, okay, maybe. A corporate conference, maybe. But cycling, no. This is not the place for cycling. I said, give it to me. Give me the place, I'll pay you, what's your problem, right? So we'll do it. Nobody could believe that we actually could do a cycling event in a 5-star facility. All we wanted is to start from there, end there. Of course, the cycling is all happening on the roads outside. But when you come back, you're having lunch and you're having all this stuff, networking in a 5-star facility. So the quality, I know it is expensive. The price that we set for the very first event was $2,250 as a registration fee, okay? And it was all cost. It's not that we were making money hand over fist, because if you include a 5-star lunch and all the nice facilities, cycles, helmets, 62 kilometers of route support with the mechanics on the street, people giving you water, beverages, snacks on the street, motorcycle support, transportation if your cycle broke to bring it back, you factor all that. it will cost you that much, right? And if you are afraid of taking the quality up and keeping the price down, forever, this country is going to be what it is. Okay? Let alone all that Swachh Bharat talk and all that, unless you commit to the quality. And we actually made a decision, whether one guy shows up or 1,000 people show up, our quality will be 5-star in everything we do. And I think that's probably the right thing to do, at least from our experience. I'm not saying this is what you should do. This is what has actually helped us. Okay? And our quote, our line to anybody who questioned us, why 5-star, is very simple. You know, and it was convenient that it was the very first event was the Independence Day, Freedom Ride. So our line to them was, look, if it is a wedding in your family, 5-star, as high as it can be. If it is an event in your company, 5-star, as nice as it can be. If it is August 15th in India, it's a shamiana on the road and a flag to a stick. Do you really like that? If you want quality, a flag hoisting at a 5-star facility by an army veteran and then thousands of people going out cycling on the street, you need quality. So committing to a higher quality, initially it scared us, but we held. We held on our own, we got it done, and we said, anything we do is 5-star. For us, why it has been successful, why 189 went up to 10,000 is because I think the number one factor. The second, innovation. At the stage of your business, right, this $108 billion made today, okay, has been easy money for India. You know, the customers are used to paying so much more. So when you come with the labor arbitrage and other cost advantages to India, it's a fairly easy decision. And I think a big part of our industry is spoiled by easy money. You know, you really have to work for this money. You know, your customer is not the only one who has to pay. You know, I can't sit here and say, look at India, 60% of the people are dying because of lifestyle activities, and I have a lifestyle business, and per unit cost is 2,000 rupees, damn it, pay it. I don't think anybody's going to pay. Unless it goes into my head that it is worth for me. And the responsibility to make people understand that is on us. Otherwise, why are we in the business? Leave this and go to something else, right? So what do you do then? If more people start cycling, there are other stakeholders. There are cycle manufacturers. There are healthcare companies, right? There are so many others, equipment manufacturers, infrastructure companies, who will have to pitch in. So whatever is a deficit that we have between our cost and the price, and we're a flipped business, right? You know, we are the real flip card, no one else, right? So our price is lower than our cost, and who makes up for it? The rest of the stakeholders make up for it. Now, so we barely break even at the stage of a business, but that's okay. Because with this kind of history, with this kind of focus on cycling, when no one else in the country is even talking about stuff like this, I think in 5 years from now, we'll be in a serious situation, right? Business. So I think don't always expect the money to come from customer alone. There are others who can pay. Okay? And in fact, a big part of our customer base is corporate, because corporates know that one day of reduced absenteeism due to ill health is millions of dollars in this industry. Take the $108 billion, divide by the collective workforce of this industry, take one day out. See what happens. Okay? That's the impact. So they're sure they'll pay a little bit for us, right? Connect with the customer. And I have so many of these experiences with my team coming back from a cycle clinic and say, you know, we actually fixed a kid's cycle today. You know, we taught somebody cycling today. There are 100 plus women in Hyderabad, 45 years or older, who, because of us, have cycled for the first time in life. Thank you. They come to us and say, you know, I never cycled in my life. I don't even know how to balance. And initially they used to be very shy. So we have this line, we have this expression saying, look, you're the luckiest person on earth because there are 3 things that you learn only once in your life. At least that's what I know of, okay? Walking, and we all forget it, right? Only our moms remember some, vague facts about it. Swimming, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And cycling happens so far back in our memory. You really don't know it. But the first time you learn is the only time you learn. That's it. After that, nobody is going to make you fall, okay, because you don't know balancing, you don't know swimming, and you don't know walking. And for these women, we say, you have the opportunity to now live that moment, which most of us wish that we could, right? It's a brilliant thing. And when you have a commitment to your work to that fundamental level, your customers connect. When we fix cycles for free, people ask us, why do you do this? You guys are fools? I mean, you're fixing it for free? Okay? Yes, we fix it for free, and it runs. It wouldn't have run. We own the truck. We own some of the most expensive tool sets in the country. We are the most equipped mechanic shop. We probably have better tools fixing cycles than any of you got fixing your cars and motorcycles. Right? So that builds a connection with the customer. Our connections, in fact, when our customers come to our store, we tell them, don't buy. We are not here to sell cycles. We are here to sell cycling. Only when we are convinced that they are prepared to buy a cycle, we will sell. If a person with the most expensive cycle right now in our shop is 2.5 lakhs. If somebody walks in and tests this, okay, and I'll give you the 2.5 lakh rupees back if the guy takes it from you at the store, okay. I want this cycle, here is my 2.5 lakhs. The first I'll say, sorry sir, that's not how we sell. You prove it to me why you want it. If you say, I have money, I just want to show off, I'll put it on my car, I'll put it on the wall, I'll buy it, okay, take it. But if you want to ride, if you want to enjoy cycling, we will not sell you. We first have to be convinced that you're going to make the most of the equipment, because a dissatisfied customer is not just a loss of a customer for an equipment, it's loss of a customer for a lifetime for everything else we do. I want these guys to come and do those 30 rides with us on a cycle that they enjoy, than make us a few thousand rupees of profit on a cycle, right? And you got to connect with the customers like that. You have to believe that why we are in this is, yes, to make money. That's not the number one. The number one is we are here to make people enjoy cycling. And if you guys haven't tried, if it has been 15 years, 20 years since I've gotten on a cycle, please go try. We will give you a cycle and a helmet. It costs 125 rupees for God's sake. Okay? We'll give it to you for a full day. Enjoy. We'll even show you where to enjoy most of that without much of traffic. And then come back and have a conversation. All right? Last one. Or not last one, then I probably will have to wrap up. So, leverage technology. Yes, we are a cycling company, but we are also a technology company. We probably do more technology than the most technology firms. When somebody brings a cycle to our cycle clinic, our people will receive them nicely and all that. Yes, sir, please come have the cycle fixed. It's cleaned, and at the time it is ready to be handed back, a sticker goes on there, right? It has this nice statement saying, serviced with care by TAF. And there's a QR code on that. The next time the cycle comes back for the service, you don't have to give your name, phone number, email, nothing. There's an app, you scan, we have everything, okay? We know your maintenance records better than you know your car maintenance records, okay? If we replace a part, if that part is under warranty, and the warranty is 6 months, in the 3rd month if you bring it broken, and if it is replaceable, we will get it replaced for you. Okay, I don't think even car servicing happens to that level in Hyderabad today, but all that is possible because of technology. Do not underestimate technology. And that's just one example. Some of the mapping techniques that our guys do when setting up a route, the elevation profile that they set up, the food provisioning that they provide on the route, you just have to see the technology to believe it. And all that is possible. We have that, okay? I already talked about the sell cycles of cycling. I don't think I want to sell cycles. I don't think anybody in TAF wants to sell cycles, right? We want to sell cycling. And we'll do that shamelessly because we believe it's good for you. We believe you'll have a time of your life on a cycle. Try it, okay? And beyond the textbooks, do not believe what the MBA textbooks tell you. I've read enough of them. I'm an MBA, okay? Not everything works according to those philosophers and theory guys and the doctorates who sit there and produce articles after articles and books after books. Go out there and try. Our people, after nearly 2 days of sleepless preparation for a big event, these big events take enormous amount of effort from us. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when everybody has finished and gone home, we are there, at least in the early stages, taking these cycles, lifting them, loading them into the trucks, me included. And I'm actually very proud of that, okay? That taught us a lot. It actually has taught us something because of which transportation is a big cost for us. You'll be wondering, right, what is in our cost structure? One of the biggest items in our cost structure is transporting cycles from one place to other place. Because when people want to ride 10 kilometers, they want to start from their office or a park or wherever, we need to transport them 25 kilometers because it needs to reach there. And we do that on the truck. So this whole process of loading, unloading, transporting taught us so much. We're actually designing and fabricating custom vehicles on which we can actually mount these cycles and pull them on the trailers. It's good, and why do we do it? It's because it's good for cycles. Because cycles get damaged when you load them into the truck and unload, okay? So go beyond the textbooks. There's a lot to learn in this world when you're out there in the field doing all this. And last, believe in the fundamentals, okay? Discipline, hard work, timeliness, your commitment. I know I sound like my grandfather, I know that, okay? But after 6-7 years of doing this, if I look back and I have to list those things that actually helped us take that 189 rider event to 10,000, those are the things. There are people who actually make our staff visit 15 times before they sign up a team of 30 people. We spend more on the conveyance of these people, going to their offices, explaining to them what these rights are, why they should register, 15 times before 30 people are registered, right? But you have to do it. Otherwise, they will never register. They will never discover cycling. They will never come to our event. We can't complain, but that happens. So that takes a lot of commitment. Can you imagine a 24-year-old guy going there the 15th time, telling the same thing to that senior manager who all he has to do is write 45,000 rupees check plus service tax, okay, you're done. Makes you come back 15 times. You don't mind. How many of the people have that commitment? You don't go back for your salary second time to your accounting department. You are just preparing your resume at that point, correct? So think about that. Timeliness. We actually send and this probably is my last point. When you register for events, and as I said, most of them start at 7 o'clock, sometimes they start at 6 o'clock, okay? At about 4:30, there's an SMS blast. Believe in technology, right? So the SMS goes out 4:30, that's your wake-up call, wake-up message, and the message reads something like, "Dear Freedom Rider, rise and shine." Right? It's time to get up and get ready and come to the Gachibowli Stadium or wherever the location is, right? Sharp at 6:30 or before, because 7 is a 7 is a 7. And it is. 6:59, 50 seconds. There's a rocket launch countdown, and some of you guys have probably been there. If the chief guest is late, we have school children pulling the thread of that flag, and many chief guests have been late. And we have started without them, okay? A very famous Bollywood actress came right here, okay, 5 minutes late. And unfortunately for her, she missed the flag hoisting, okay? She missed the flag off, okay? So 7 is a 7 is a 7. So I'll end there. I believe we can talk all about technology, we can talk about customers, business analysis, design, but what takes to take a passion to a profession is no different from what takes anything to a successful enterprise, and I think those are the fundamentals. So I'll stop there. Thank you very much.